keys to the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner, where the coins keep turning. Log in now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Happy Saturday. How's everyone doing today? Hope you guys are all doing swell. We got nothing really going on in the charts, if I'm being completely honest. Let's see. Hey, what's going on, guys? We are still in the bunker. Like I said, it's spooky out there. Nothing really has changed. Let's see what's going on. Bitcoin, $67,306.12. Pretty quiet. Pretty dang quiet. I like that we're touching the fractal. I'm not really sold on an idea of a sustained bounce per se, but I'm not ruling it out either. Bitcoin dominance, 58.95. We've lost 59, which may actually be bullish for altcoins. We'll have to wait and see. What's going on, Philly? Gas went up by $1 in 2 days. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I talked about this yesterday. I'm at that crossroads where do I fill up my tank right now at risk of it going higher later to avoid that, or do I wait because maybe there's going to be some wild card, like Trump's going to be like, we fixed everything and we have a bunch of gas now or a bunch of oil now, and the price is going to go down to $1. You know what I mean? Like, what's more worth it? Me saving money now at risk of missing out on savings tomorrow? I don't know. I either spend the money now or I spend the money later. I guess I should just fill up now. I think I just answered my own question. Anyways, Bitcoin, 67,271. Gold, or Pax Gold specifically, 24-hour gold market, tokenized gold, $5,171.74. Really sideways, very sideways. Regular gold, 51.71, and it's just weird to see tokenized gold. I guess it's not weird. It makes sense that it's trading sideways so much. So we got sideways gold on both fronts, 24-hour or 24/7 market and the traditional market. Silver closed at 84.47, and we're in something of a consolidation, it seems. We'll wait and see what futures looks like tomorrow or Monday open. DXY getting like a double top thing going on at 99.4, which is a random arbitrary number, but I'll take it. And there's technically could argue for a triple top. I don't know. Is that going to mean anything? Probably not, but we'll see what happens. Dow Jones 47,487. The Dow is no longer 50,000, unfortunately. Nasdaq closed down 1.58% yesterday, $24,634.30. We're getting a little, I don't know, I guess I'm going to use the word impatient because it's not necessarily dumpy. Clearly, short-term trend was a dump, but longer-term, since February, beginning of February, for like a solid month, we've been sideways. very, very sideways, consolidating. So I don't know. Is this going to end up being some kind of squeeze, or are we just in a sideways channel? You know, there's definitely several arguments to be made. I guess my biggest concern is whenever we get sideways channels, we end up dumping almost every time. So I don't know. Can you make the argument that this is a sideways channel that resulted in a pump? Maybe. I don't know. That's once you get into the semantics, you start to realize how silly it is that you're even considering patterns. Because the market's going to do what the market does, and it's all going to be based on news and liquidity. It is what it is. Professor Oak said, bomb? What's going on, Professor Oak? We got some news for sure that we got to go through. Nvidia is down 3%, or closed Friday down 3%, 178.02. This has also been incredibly sideways, even given their record earnings recently and all that. This thing went from $100 to like $200, and then has been just kind of trying to hold steady at 178. Our best case scenario is, in my opinion, at least based on history, is a retrace before a pump. Like, we can see. I don't know. There's arguments to be made for all sides. I would love to see a retrace, even slightly. I don't mind the sideways, but how much more money is going to go into Nvidia? It's like the most expensive stock on the planet as far as market cap is concerned. What's the difference between Nvidia and gold? It's significant, but Nvidia is far from gold. Nvidia is like a stock, a tech stock. Gold is gold, you know? I don't know. Tesla down 2.17%. We got some parabola on Tesla, a longer term parabola that we drew who knows how long ago, and it like weirdly looks pretty good. Looks pretty dang good. So what's nice about the parabola is you get plausible deniability with it. We can do that. You know, you just kind of change the shape whenever you feel. They're not great. Yeah, we could do one of these if it just decides to do this or something. You know, there's definitely a bunch of different options. This does look like it's on the up, though. Like, this is a irrational uptrend. This is a nice, like, prolonged climb over time, which is very nice. It's almost like, seems stable. RSI looks great on the daily. Same with Nvidia, actually. Nvidia's daily RSI looks awesome. I don't know. We'll see what futures looks like tomorrow. And then, obviously, Monday open. Not entirely sure what we're going to be in for. It's really, everyone's kind of waiting. We're in limbo right now waiting to see if Trump comes out and says, like, we solved world hunger and peace and all that stuff. MicroStrategy, aka Big B Coffee. You guys are not familiar. I call it Big B Coffee because the logo is identical to Big B Coffee. I don't know why. Somebody worked at Big B Coffee and then they got a job designing a logo for MicroStrategy. That's the only answer that I've been able to come up with. But we looked at this yesterday. It's down 4.49%. Very sideways, just like everything else. If not up a little bit, but semantics. We're going to have to see if this thing ends up breaking below that upper trend line again. We got upper trend line resistance turned support. So holding at support is going to be a big deal. Should I change the color? Let me change the color to the strategy Big B Coffee orange. And then that's not the right one. There we go. We'll see if it holds. That'd be kind of cool. We talked about dominance. Bitcoin trying to be green. It's struggling though. 67,293 and 42 cents. Are we going to get above 70K and stay above it? Right here, when we lost 70K, it was a pretty violent dump immediately afterwards. And the liquidity really dried up heading into the weekend. We do have a green dot on the momentum wave pointing to the upside. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see what we got. I want to go to the weekly really quick. Yeah, because allegedly, I don't know what chart it's on. There's like a big deal confirmed green dot on the weekly. Maybe it's the daily. I think it's the weekly, though. It's got to be the weekly, because I got to just go find Crypto Face's post on it, because that's his indicator. Market cipher. Ooh. I actually really like this. We took the fractal from back here, same size, interesting. And obviously, there's a lot more money in the market now, so I'm not saying it's going to be the exact same, but if it was, this would line up with everyone's perfect October bottom that everyone's looking for based on that one anonymous 4chan post. 70% pullback would put us at approximately 37K. 75% would put us at 30K. 80% would put us at 24K. Let me do a 65% pullback as well, just for shits and gigs. 65 would put us at 43.9. I'm going to go 44. 65% pullback. Level. I guess I need to put the word level in there too for some reason. I wouldn't mind 65. I think 58 is our 51,500 level. I'll just go 60. 60 puts us at 49.5. $49.5. Guys, sound off in the chat. Happy Saturday. Appreciate you guys for being here. Yeah. How far do you think we're going to pull back? That'll be a good... Let's actually do that poll. That's a good poll. Everyone observe the numbers on the screen. We got 1 vote? Oh, jeez. All right, I'm ending it. Clearly, you guys aren't feeling it. I asked you guys, what's Monday open vibe? We got 1 vote. Bloody Monday. Everything dumps. Crypto Spaces said every day is bloody. Yeah. Is it an opportunity, though? Or are we just pure copium at the moment? What do you think this bear market pullback will end up being after all is said and done? We got 65% pullback, 70% pullback, 75% pullback, more than 80% pullback. And then you guys can look at the values on the screen. Start poll. Last couple, so we got 60% is at 49.5, 65 is at 44, 70% is at 37, 75% is at 30, 80% is at 24. Let me go to the Coinbase chart right here. Yeah, so 2018 bull market, 84% pullback. 2021 bull market, 71% pullback. And then current one, I estimated 58, trying to be a little copium. We went from 84 to 71. That's a difference of 13. 71 minus 13 is 58. There you go. And our 58% pullback puts us at approximately 51,500. So if that ends up being correct, that would be pretty cool. I would be very excited about that. Especially if it was like precise, that would be really cool. But let me know what you guys think. Where you guys think we're going. 58.71. Let me go back right here. 60% puts us at 49.5. 65% puts us at 44. 70% puts us at 37. 75% puts us at 30. 80% puts us at 24,660. Now, last bear market bottom was around 15, 16K. So it's not too outlandish to assume that maybe, and I hate saying this, I don't want to be the guy to say this, and I'm not saying that I think that this is possible, I just don't think that it's impossible. 30K is not unreasonable to estimate. It sounds crazy right now, but during the bear market, if somebody told you Bitcoin's going to hit $126,000 way ahead of schedule as well, you probably would have punched them in the face and called them a nerd. You know? A shill. Somebody that, like, just grifts on YouTube for clout, saying all this crazy, overly bullish stuff, just to see what kind of views they'll get. You know, that would be cool if 60K was the bottom. That would be really cool. Strictly based on this little double top, mimicking the previous bull market. Let's continue. ETH down 0.1% on the day. We are currently trading at $1,968.19. I forgot to do the liquidation heat map. Let's go do that. Tishu said, oh, now you accept the 30K possibility? I just think it's crazy. If it happened, I wouldn't be sitting here being like, oh my gosh, that's impossible. I still think it's crazy for that to happen. 66,869. Market's dynamic. I feel like my my opinion's allowed to change. 65,673. Going up 67,716. And at the top of the top, we've got, I'm gonna go right here, 68,961. There we go. That's our liquidation points. Probably expecting Bitcoin to stick between this 66.8 and that 67.8. Little 1K range. It's nice of them. ETH. We want to get back above 2K if we're going to continue to the downside. Look for 1900 support. I'm not sure where we're going to go. Definitely just still in a sideways range on all these coins. Solana, same thing. Sideways range. For Solana, bouncing off of 82.47 would be awesome. What would be even more cool is getting back above this previously lower trend line for that gigantic wedge that we broke out of to achieve a new all-time high way back when. We are looking at a potential touch of the moving average on the RSI coming up in the next day or two. We do have a green dot on the momentum wave on Market Cipher. Same with ETH. A little bit sloppy. Total freeze down 0.13% on the day. 699 billion. Yeah, getting back above 700 is going to be a big deal if we can do that. We're right there. We're kind of playing with it. Seeing the volume drop heading into the weekend is a little sus. A little spooky. I don't know. Look at the volume difference right here. Like, we got really exciting right here. Exciting and then boring, 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 boring. Built up. And then exciting and then boring, boring, boring. Little pop, boring. It's just like over time. Gradual decrease over time. Like, we had really good volume right here for a minute. And now almost looks worse than it was back here. I don't know. ADA is down 0.35. We're sitting at 25.35. This thing's probably going down to 20 cents. If we're gonna be bearish, then we're gonna be bearish. ADA is probably going down to 20. SNEC is below 5, which makes me sad. We are potentially, unfortunately, following the doom fractal on SNEC. Not a financial advisor. It's looking pretty bleak, though. Looking pretty bleak. Midnight. Oh, midnight also looks like doo-doo. Is it going to bounce off of 54? Are we going to lose it and finally break out of this range? Honestly, just break out of the range. We can go up or down. You know, as long as it does something. This thing's been range bound. Feels like forever, man. Since January. Oh my gosh. Tishu said, I think it's crazy too. But at 90K, your feeling was like, ha. Remember that? For when and if we get another all-time high or close to. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens every time, though, man. Happens every single time. XRP. I mean, if we don't go down to 30K, though, then remember this as well. Likewise. It goes both ways. XRP is down 0.15. Currently trading at $1.35. Not much to report here either. $1.35 seems to be like really weird, strong support. It's arbitrary, but I guess it's significant to the XRP holders. You got to fake out to the downside back here, fake out to the upside right here, and then you're just kind of maintaining your range. It's very safe and sound in between 134 and 150. So see if you can break out of that. You do have a green dot in your momentum wave. Money flow still negative, though, on most of these coins, if not all of them. Yeah, we got negative money flow everywhere. Money flow is negative. I'm not going to go through the rest of them. There's nothing to report. Everything's down or sideways, boring. Gold and silver are the only thing that are like remotely up. Even those are kind of crappy for the weekend. Like gold has done nothing today. The cruise said JJ sup. What's going on, the cruise? How you doing, my friend? Okay. Let's get to the news segment. Yeah, Bitcoin's turning red. It's getting spooky. Getting spooky, guys. Watch a guru. Oh no, I'm sorry. Kim.com first said, watch for major U.S. market collapse. Hey, crypto bros, don't panic. This is what you have been waiting for. If you sell in the crash, you may regret it. I like that he just says random stuff on the internet now. Like, he went from being like this cool, like, cypherpunk, like, hacker guy to like a random Discord mod-esque troll. It's kind of funny. Philly said, dude, you added the crawl to your screen. Coolness. Thank you, Philly. I appreciate that you noticed that. I added it just in time for our for our concurrent viewership to drop by like 75%. Cheers. Happy Saturday. Increase in production value, decrease in views. Watcher Guru posted, White House official says the U.S. will seize all the oil from Iran. Mind you, I just want to point this out, just because it's kind of comical. After that was reported 20 hours ago, we get this. Are you ready? This is the United States seizing all of the oil from Iran. Boom. Breaking. Iranian oil depot just bombed by the U.S. I don't think that's how we obtain the oil. Something tells me that we cannot get it. Like, once it's burned up, turned into smoke, and then in the atmosphere, I don't think we can turn it back into oil. Unless I'm missing something. But it seems to me like bombing the thing makes it unattainable once it has been bombed. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may be completely out of touch here. I'm not an explosives expert, nor am I a like gasoline or oil scientist. But for some reason in my brain, I'm like, if you blow something up, I feel like you won't be able to get it after that. But I don't know, man. Maybe it's in like protective flame retardant containers, and this is just the building is on fire. It's the oil's actually fine. Next. Breaking. So this one's really kind of crazy. Solana flipped Ethereum in total real-world asset holders for the first time, according to RWAXYZ. Very cool. Marty Party posted Trump on Iran. We're going to read Donald Trump's post. Iran, which is beat to hell, has apologized and surrendered to its Middle East neighbors and promised that it will not shoot at them anymore. This promise was only made because of the relentless U.S. and Israeli attacks. They were looking to take over and rule the Middle East. It is the first time that Iran has ever lost in thousands of years to surrounding Middle Eastern countries. They have said, thank you, President Trump. I have said, you're welcome. Iran is no longer the bully of the Middle East. They are instead the loser of the Middle East. And will be for many decades until they surrender or, more likely, completely collapse. Today, Iran will be hit very hard, under serious consideration for complete destruction and certain death because of Iran's bad behavior. Are areas and groups of people that were not considered for targeting up until this moment in time. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So they're going to wipe the entire country from the planet, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. Lambo Baggins said, oil, if it burns, it's gone as fuel. Yeah. That's what I thought. For some reason, I had that same thought. It's weird. Marty Party also posted, stablecoin market cap, March 17th. Note, turning back to all-time high of $320 billion, in my opinion, is the primary correlation of digital asset expansion and indicates the reversion from October liquidity crisis has recovered. Look when stablecoin market cap turned back October 10th when the U.S. government shut down and they rebuilt the TGA. Keep focus. When this passes all-time high, expansion continues. I don't know. People. To reiterate again, Venezuela and Iran have nothing to do with drugs and nuclear activity. I don't know who thought it had anything to do with drugs or nuclear activity. It's all about oil and China. U.S. secured Venezuelan oil, stopping China. U.S. secured Iran oil and the Strait of stopping the Strait stopping China. He spelled that wrong. That's actually really funny. There will be more. Then reindustrialization of the United States means the starving of China. China GDP is dropping. They are in crisis and have just lost access to their lifeline of oil. Negotiations will continue. Expect China to come to the table soon. Tishu said, is there any coin that historically goes up when stablecoin market cap goes up? I don't know. My whole thing with stablecoin market cap is I don't think that we're going to be able to use it as a reasonable means for measurement in cryptocurrency anymore. Even from this point forward, like it might have some small correlation with the market pumping at some point, but I feel like with stablecoins basically spearheading adoption outside of tokenization, we're not going to be able to measure the success of crypto by the success of stablecoins. Stablecoins are the U.S. dollar. Like it's the same correlation as like when we print money, risk assets pump. But not because like the money being printed isn't being printed and then put in like a Coinbase account and spent on crypto. You know, it's a speculation thing. So we might have like some rolling increase over time, but eventually I think stablecoin is going to be measured entirely separate from crypto because it's going to be like what people use as everyday money. It's like the M2. Remember when we were perfectly correlated with the M2 money supply? What happened with that? It's going to be the same exact story. I'm telling you. All right. Kobe SE later posted, software stocks are experiencing a historic run. The tech software ETF, IGV, has outperformed the semiconductor sector ETF, SOXX, by 16.59 percentage points over the last 6 trading sessions, the largest 6-day outperformance on record. This comes as IGV has rallied plus 8.37% over this period to the highest since February 2nd. At the same time, SOXX has dropped 8.22% to near the lowest since February 5th. This marks a historic reversal after software stocks underperformed by nearly 15 percentage points by the end of January, or at the end of January, the biggest gap since 2008. This also comes after hedge fund short exposure to U.S. software and service stocks rose to a record 3.8% last week. A short squeeze in software stocks has arrived. Too bad it is nearly invisible. Kobe SE Letter also posted 20 hours ago, Asia is the most dependent region on oil and natural gas flows from the Middle East. Around 90% of all crude oil transiting the Strait of Hormuz is destined for Asia, and around 82% of LNG exports from Qatar and the UAE flow to Asian buyers. China alone receives 38% of all oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz, followed by India at 15%, South Korea at 12%, and Japan at 11%. Furthermore, for Japan and South Korea, over 60% of their total oil imports are transported via Hormuz, making them the most vulnerable to supply disruptions. For Asia, the Strait of Hormuz is an energy lifeline. That's kind of crazy. I still don't understand why we rely on this stupid body of water. Why don't we just have a big-ass pipeline? Is that crazy? Is a pipeline out of the question? It seems like a pipeline would be really cheap. They literally make the whole world hold the bag. Okay, Tishu said, what about the theory of the U.S. government distributing its debt over stablecoin adoption? They literally make the whole world hold the bag. That's what I've been saying since the beginning. I was like, why can't we just tokenize the debt? Because stablecoin companies like Tether, Tether's backed with gold, cash, Bitcoin, and like commercial paper, which is just debt. It's just debt. They tokenize debt. So if we have like $38 trillion in debt, and we take that and we go, boop, we tokenize $38 trillion in stablecoins, and then you just have $38 trillion of new money circulating. And it's on the promise that it's going to be paid, which is literally, by the way, that is literally what the United States dollar is. It's just like a promissory note saying like, yes, this is worth this much, which is, there's no unit of measurement really against that besides other currencies. It's silly. It's all silly. Money's made up, which cracks me up when people are like, Bitcoin's fake, or like, literally anything else. They're like, why would you buy Pokemon cards? Those don't actually have any value. It's just cardboard and ink. Brother, listen to the words that you're saying. That's everything. Unless you are feeding my family or providing shelter for them, you're providing nothing for me. Paper, Bitcoin, gold, silver, I don't care. None of it holds any value unless I can use it to buy food or shelter. That's it. Bottom line. And I don't have to use it to directly buy food or shelter. My vehicle has value because it allows me to travel to obtain resources, in this case, the dollar, to provide food and shelter for my family. It's not that hard. It is quite silly, though. Breaking, Iran says it will no longer attack neighboring countries or launch missiles unless an attack on Iran originates from those countries. U.S. dependence on Persian Gulf oil has almost never been lower. U.S. imports of crude oil from the Persian Gulf countries are down to 500,000 barrels per day, near the lowest on record. Imports from Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, and the UAE, Bahrain, and Qatar have declined 2.5 million barrels per day since the 2003 peak. Just 9 years ago, the U.S. was receiving 2 million barrels per day from the region. The current level of imports is now only above 2020 pandemic shock and the 1980s low. Meanwhile, U.S. crude oil production stands at 13.7 million barrels per day, near an all-time high, surging 145% since 2003. The U.S. is more energy independent than ever. Yay! Breaking, Kuwait officially confirms it has cut oil production today. Prior to the war, Kuwait was producing nearly 2.8 million barrels of oil per day. That's so much oil, dude. That's crazy. Chinese banks are backtracking from the Middle East after record exposure. Chinese banks lent a record $15.7 billion to Gulf states in 2025. Lending has quadrupled from 2024 and up 2,428% since 2022. Abu Dhabi National Oil Co., the UAE's biggest oil producer, was even preparing its first-year yuan-denominated bond, which could have raised up to $2 billion. Now those plans have been halted following U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran. Furthermore, several Chinese financial firms are reducing exposure to Middle Eastern debt, while Hong Kong and Chinese regulators have directed banks to review and report all regional exposure. China's Gulf lending boom is pausing. Interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, what do we got going for our poll currently? Is PAX gold? Yeah, see, gold's not really. It sucks when the market's dumpy, but at least it's doing something. When the market does nothing, you wonder why you're here. Like, if it's dumping, you're like, dang, I have purpose. I can either buy the dip or I can sell at a loss and, like, reinvest later. Like, there's things that you can do. When it goes sideways, what are you doing? Repeating what you did yesterday? Forever? That's the definition of insanity. I asked you guys, what do you think this bear market pullback will end up being after all is said and done? 49% of you guys said more than 80% pullback. Wow. 17% said 65% pullback, 17% said 70% pullback, and 17% said 75% pullback. That's crazy. 49%. Wow. Okay, next poll. What do we got? We got a couple of good ones. All right, this is a good one. Do you think we're on the brink of a real recession, depression? Yes, the dump won't stop. Yes, but it won't last long. No, Trump will stop it. No, oops, dang it. No, Trump will stop it. And no, the Fed will print us out. Woohoo! Oh yeah, Philly said, reminder, clocks change, everyone. Yeah, we are going back to regular time. We lose an hour, which means when I get home, we should be able to do the daily close? Question mark? Maybe? That's a big maybe. Don't hold me to that. All right. I asked you guys, do you think we're on the brink of a real recession, depression? Let me know what you guys think in the poll in the chat. Direct your attention. Let's continue. Gold not doing nothing. Or gold is doing nothing. Bitcoin is also doing nothing. And the lot of cryptocurrency is doing nothing. Quite the nothing burger. All right. Kobe Letter posted 8 hours ago. Market stress is surging at a rapid pace. The spread between the average 9-month volatility of S&P 500 stocks and the S&P 500 index's 9-month volatility is up to 18 points, the highest since 2008. This spread has doubled over the last 2 years, suggesting many market sectors are experiencing severe volatility despite the broader market appearing relatively calm. This also means options on individual stocks are far more expensive relative to index options than at almost any point in history. Furthermore, the S&P 500's 1-month put-call volatility skew ratio is up to around 1.65, the highest since 2021. In other words, put options are now 65% more expensive than call options. By comparison, this ratio was around 1.15 at the beginning of 2024. Volatility is building under the surface. Thank God, because it has been so not volatile for like a year that I'm like looking into like buying and flipping automobiles. It's been so boring. Tishu said 80% gets Bitcoin to 20K. I don't think it goes that low, but I'm prepared for it if it does. Even if it never goes up after that, I'll be prepared. I won't go all in. My favorite is the people that are like, even when we do that, I'm only buying Bitcoin. I'm like, okay, damn, chill, bro. You're good. It's okay. You know, Bitcoin's the one pulling back, right? Cheers, guys. Next, 7 hours ago, U.S. manufacturing sector has rarely been this weak. The ISM manufacturing PMI index fell 0.3 points in December to 47.9, the lowest since October 2024. This marks the 10th consecutive monthly contraction. Only 11% of industries reported growth, the second lowest reading since April 2009, down from 39% a year ago. New orders came in at 47.7, remaining in contraction for the fourth consecutive month. Inventories fell around 3.7 points to 45.2, the fastest drawdown since October 2024, indicating firms are relying on existing stockpiles to satisfy tepid demand rather than placing new orders. Employment rose 0.9 points to 44.9, posting the 11th consecutive monthly contraction. U.S. manufacturing is in trouble. Notice they stuck with December 2025 because January and February are like an expansion. That's a little sus. I'm a little bothered. I like Kobe Letter, but that's the first time I've seen something like blatantly ignored. Manufacturing has been historically really, really bad, but the past 2-month prints have been in expansion, which is huge. This right here, they're talking about this guy, this December print right there. That was very, very low. They are not wrong. That was very, very low. But this expansion is huge. Is it an anomaly? So far, it seems like it might be, but time will tell. Billy said, no, JJ, the clocks go forward, not back. Yeah, I'm aware. I know during the summer, I have more time and I'm able to like get to my computer in time for the daily close. But for some reason, winter got way out of control. I don't know if it has to do with the clocks. I have no clue. We go forward. Yeah, we lose an hour. Personally, but I think I have more time to get home or something. I don't know. I don't even know why we do daylight savings time. It's the most annoying thing on the planet. All right, let's get back to the chart that does nothing. Who is blowing my phone up? Is it freaking Coinbase? Nope. Okay. All right, let's continue news segment. U.S. tech loan market weakness is becoming more apparent. This is what everyone's freaking out about, is the private credit market. U.S. tech loan prices have declined 5% year to date, to 90 cents, the steepest drop since the 2022 bear market. European tech loans have fallen 5% to 89 cents, the lowest in at least 2 years. The broader U.S. leveraged loan index has declined 2% to 95 cents, the lowest since April 2025 sell-off. This marks the largest 2-month decline since 2022, when rising U.S. interest rates triggered recession fears. Furthermore, the number of new U.S. loan offerings has dropped to the lowest since May. The decline has been primarily driven by software and service companies amid growing concerns that AI tools will replace their products. The U.S. credit market is shifting. Dixie said, hi, JJ. Smash the like. Happy Saturday. Appreciate you, Dixie. Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. Happy Saturday, everybody. Breaking U.S. money market fund assets are up to a record $8.24 trillion, a 58% surge since December 2022. During this period, the top five managers, Fidelity, J.P. Morgan, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, and BlackRock, drove around 69% of total asset growth, with combined assets now at $4.76 trillion. Their collective market share has risen 14 percentage points to around 58% since 2011. Overall, total money market fund assets have grown $5 trillion since 2019, or at a plus 13.7% compounded annual growth rate, CAGR. Demand for safe haven investments remains historically high. I'm not entirely sure how this is safe haven investment if, like, some indexes are just cutting off your ability to withdraw. Not to name names. President Trump says the UK is finally giving serious thought into sending 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East. We don't need them any longer. We don't need people that join wars after we've already won, Trump says. Oh, dang. I mean, that sounds like he's gonna hopefully, maybe I'm talking pure copium here. That sounds like he's gonna end up talking about something bullish soon, like an end to the conflict. Not that that would matter. There was no conflict like a couple weeks ago and nobody cared. The market was still in poo-poo. Truflation posted our independent U.S. CPI dropped to 0.87% today. The change was driven primarily by the housing category, particularly rented dwellings, and it was partly offset by a slight rise in transport, particularly gasoline and food inflation. Recent data shows an approximately 10% decline in reported rent prices, reflecting a broad cooling trend in the U.S. rental market. Rent growth has been slowing through late 2025 and early 2026, a pattern also visible across several housing data providers. Increased apartment supply and rising vacancy rates have made the rental market more renter-friendly, easing price pressures. Looking ahead, most housing forecasts point to largely flat rent growth in 2026. And what do you think? I don't care what has caused it. I like the idea of rent going down. I like the idea of more rental availability. I like the idea of more house availability. I like the idea that people can't sell their homes. That makes me happy. If that's evil, I don't care. I think that that's really funny because these greedy bastards with their homes, I'm not jealous at all for not being a homeowner. There's no jealousy in my voice whatsoever. They're like, oh no, I can't sell my house. Oh no, what? Oopsie. Maybe you should lower the price. All right, let's continue. Bitcoin is looking green here. Oh my gosh, we're going to start. Bitcoin started to pump like crazy. Up 0.08%. Oh! Fact, the 20 millionth Bitcoin will be mined in the coming week. That is actually pretty epic. That means there is over 2x more lost Bitcoin than Bitcoin left to mine. That's pretty crazy. There will only ever be 20 million Bitcoin. Ever. Latest, Bitcoin's March just flipped green. What? I don't believe you. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. So the only other time we got 6 months of red, we are on month number 6 currently, by the way. We got October, November, December, January, February, March would be number 6. The only other time before this is 2018 to 2019. We got August, September, October, November, December, January. So we'll see what happens. 11 hours ago, this guy named Crypto Prime said, is this an AI reply? It might be. We'll see. He said, March flipping green while ETF flows are deeply negative and Hormuz is literally on fire might be the most interesting divergence of the cycle. During the 2020 COVID crash, Bitcoin bottomed 5 days before the S&P. During the Luna collapse, Bitcoin led equities down by 3 weeks. It is increasingly acting as a lead indicator, not a lagging one. Question is whether it is front-running ceasefire expectations that have not hit traditional markets yet, or if it is just a dead cat bounce before the war premium catches up. That is the ultimate question, isn't it? Adoption. Florida Senate passed SB 314 in a 37-0 vote to establish a regulatory framework for stablecoin issuers. Very cool. Tariffs. Japan asked the United States not to disadvantage Tokyo under new tariff rules that could raise duties on Japanese goods to 15%. That was nice of them. I kind of feel bad. I feel bad for Japan, man. Like, they didn't even really do anything. They're just getting slapped with tariffs, and they're like, please, could you please? Like, we're really struggling here. Please don't. It makes me sad, almost. I feel like Japan didn't do anything wrong, you know? Okay. AI. U.S. regulators will host robotaxi CEOs from Waymo, Zoox, and Aurora to push faster rollout of self-driving cars while reviewing safety risks. I don't know if I will ever get in a self-driving car. I really don't. The roads are so bad here in Michigan that I can't even trust it. Because if I'm in a self-driving car and the car drives into a freaking pit in the road because it doesn't know that the road commissioners here are useless and just like money laundering or something, and I drive into that pit and I have to deal with like the whiplash, I'm gonna be so mad. That would be so devastating. Latest prediction markets, Kalshi and Polymarket are reportedly targeting around 20 billion valuations in new fundraising rounds per the Wall Street Journal. All right. There's this big like Polymarket versus Kalshi thing now going on. If you guys are curious and you want to get into prediction markets and support the channel at the same time, use my referral link in the description. If you deposit and trade with $25 or more when using that link, we will both earn $25 in non-withdrawable site credit. You can use that $25 to make other bets, and whatever you win from that, I believe, is yours for the taking. So it's just free money. Not financial advice. Use it if you want to. Treat it as gambling, though. Be an adult with your money. Don't play with more than you can afford to lose. Yesterday's crypto coin market cap fear and greed was 18. Today we are also at 18. It is very boring. Same thing. Even fear and greed is just bored. The CoinGlass fear and greed for crypto is at 13. I don't remember what it was yesterday. And the stock market fear and greed is at 27. Top 10 looks identical. I think BNB and XRP are duking it out right now for like 4th. So we'll see what happens with that. I think, is Solana losing more ground? Was it number 7? I thought it was number 6. Solana might be losing more ground. That's actually kind of crazy. Crazy to see. I feel like Solana deserves to be higher than BNB and XRP. You know what I mean? If you guys haven't already subscribed, I appreciate you guys. We're trying to get the 2,000 subscribers probably before the end of the year at this point. We'll see what happens, though. Bitcoin, 67,294 and 40 cents. Big. Donald Trump's cyber strategy backs crypto and blockchain while hinting at crackdowns on mixers and privacy coins. Charles Hoskinson is probably pissed because he just pivoted from Cardano to Midnight. And Cardano's got the green light. We already know that. But Midnight is a privacy coin. He's probably about to get the boot. CryptoSpaces said they updated the movement on Bitcoin and Sol. What do you mean? Pretty cool. They updated the movement on Bitcoin and Sol. What does that mean? 88 Metals Mania said BNB is tough to best with CZ and all. Yeah. CZ still scares me, man. He's a frightening man. Huge. People's Bank of China extended its gold buying streak to 16 months. Wow. This one's interesting. USDC just flipped Tether in transfer volume as stablecoin transactions hit a record 1.8 trillion. This is what I'm talking about. Stablecoin metrics are continuously climbing, and they're only getting bigger as far as market cap is concerned. And everyone's like, stablecoin market cap is going to measure the start of the next bull market. When? Stablecoins right now are increasing, and the entire cryptocurrency market is decreasing. And that's because people aren't using stablecoins for crypto. They're using stablecoins for everything but crypto. It's like cash. I cannot take my cash right now and buy stocks or crypto or anything. I have to take it to the bank, digitize it, whatever bank crap that they do with it. They put it in the magic internet money thing. That's not cryptocurrency somehow. And then I can buy through Robinhood or through the banks, through a brokerage, whatever. But the cash you can't do anything with. I don't know. It's just, I don't know where I was going with that, the cash thing. But I don't think that stablecoins are going to matter much to crypto in the future. I think stablecoins are spearheading adoption, and it'll lower the barrier to entry because people are going to go, oh, I can just use my USDC to buy crypto. I didn't know that. I thought I had to make a special account and do all this, jump through all these hoops. I use my USDC all day. It's very easy. I think that's going to lower the barrier of entry to crypto significantly. But I don't know if we're going to be able to use stablecoin market cap as a metric to measure crypto's success. Maybe crypto's potential, but not its success. ETFs, the Bitcoin ETFs saw their second week of net inflows. That's exciting. Update, there are over 12x more ETH shorts than ETH longs. They're probably going to short squeeze. That'll be pretty significant. AI job losses and war-driven inflation could force Fed rate cuts, setting up a potential Bitcoin surge. I don't know. I will say the jobs data that just came out was pretty telling. We were expecting an increase, and it was actually negative. I actually think that's kind of funny. I don't understand how we're even relying on any of this jobs data since it's been revised so damn much. They revised like up to a year back. Basically said everything that we told you for the past 12 months has been incorrect, just so you're aware. And everyone's like, okay. Nobody did anything after that. We're just totally fine with it. Pentagon preparing for U.S. war with Iran to last until September, according to Politico. Mark Chadwick said they're going to print trillions. Liquidity expansion, quantitative easing coming. Crypto, you know what happens next. September sucks. Lasting until September would be crazy. POV, 5 hours ago, Mark Chadwick. When you realize the regulatory clarity crypto's been waiting for in the bill is already happening across the SEC, the Fed, and the White House, and we're literally in the shakeout before the breakout. Dang. That is a dramatic scene. I don't get it. I want to watch this, whatever this is. I'm hooked already, man. The murder board is beautiful. I hope it's a Lifetime show or something because it looks pretty corny. Unless it might just be an old movie. 88 Metals Mania said, well, if people started getting paid in stables, then it would be an easier entry. Like if people, I'm talking like if it's spearheading adoption, if people start using stablecoins pretty much in tandem with cash, then that barrier to entry would disappear and they wouldn't even know it. Their kids would go up to them and be like, Mom, you should buy some Bitcoin or whatever. And they'd be like, I don't want to do that. That's such a pain in the butt. And then the kid's like, well, you can just use your bank account. And they're like, what do you mean I could just use my bank account? Well, you already have USDC in your bank account, right? Yes. That's how I get paid. Okay, well that's a stable coin. That is already cryptocurrency. So you can just convert that to Bitcoin. Oh, I didn't realize it was that easy. Maybe I'll ask the bank lady about it. I'll ask Cheryl about it when I go in on Friday. And then she goes and gossips with Cheryl about the Bitcoin and this Michael Saylor fellow and Satoshi Nakamoto. You know, I'm just saying. Bitfinex Whales, 12 hours ago, Crypto Tice posted, Bitfinex Whales just went all in, and they don't do this by accident. These are the same wallets that loaded longs before every major Bitcoin explosion, not once, not twice, every single time. They just did it again. Smart money doesn't accumulate at the bottom by mistake. They see what retail is too scared to see. The question isn't if they're right, it's whether you'll be positioned before price confirms it. Whales don't give you this signal twice. I like it. What do we got here? I'm assuming we got OKX. We got 100% spike, 70% spike, potential 90% spike. I don't know. There's a dump here, dump here, dump here. I don't know what those dumps mean. But apparently Bitfinex whales are loading up. I don't know what that chart tells us. Gotta love an arbitrary chart. This one, so I'm not a fan of people losing money. Obviously, I'm not going to cheer that on, but I'm also not a fan of the Winklevoss twins. I think that they're scummy scumbags. We got Just and Winklevoss twins Bitcoin holdings plummet 92% since 2014, according to Arkham's something. The billionaire Winklevoss twins now hold less than 8,800 Bitcoin. What is that? What is 8,800 Bitcoin? That's probably still so much money. 67,000 times 8,800. Yeah, that's just a measly 589 million. Which, by the way, isn't 589? Isn't that the XRP number? Is no one running with that? Because that's actually kind of great. They have $589 million worth of Bitcoin. What if they just converted it all to XRP? They had a staggering 108,000 Bitcoin back in 2024, meaning they have parted with around 92% of their Bitcoin stacks. Are they losing conviction? No, they're probably just spending it, dude. That's how you take profits. All right, this one cracked me up. Tyler Durden posted, he's not broke. He's waiting for the collapse of the global monetary system. Then Bitcoin becomes a primary global currency, overtaking central bank issued fiat, which is a scam, okay? 88 Metals Mania said putting tinfoil hat on now. It has been a while. We got to go tinfoil. I'm going to go tinfoil really quick. So it's been really foggy here in Michigan. It's been super foggy here in Michigan. And last year, or maybe even the year before, I don't remember, there was a lot of fog. To the point where I made a video about it. Where is this stupid video? I was like playing around with different... Right here. The fog. The fog right here, man. The fog was crazy. I don't know. Everyone just stopped talking about the UFOs. Everyone stopped talking about the fog. And it just went away. But it was foggy. It was so foggy yesterday. I was going to my boss's dad's because his truck was in the driveway. I had to work on his truck. And I get there and it's foggy, which is like moisture. Fog is just water in the air. And I'm breathing it in, and it's like should be like replenishing, you know. It's like going into a sauna, and I developed a cough. I was like, this is uncomfortable. I smoked cigarettes for like 20 years. Wow, I smoked cigarettes for 20 years. I've been cigarette free for over 2 or 3 years now. I don't even know. It's been so long. I feel great, but I have no cough. I used to wake up coughing from smoking. I have no cough now. So to cough, for me to cough is weird. I get out in this fog and I start coughing. I was like, what is going on? This is just fog. So, I don't know. Are they putting something in the fog? Who am I to say? I have no idea. I got, your guess is as good as mine. They're putting stuff in the fog to get you to sell your bags so that you stay poor when they end the war. And they pump that shit through the door. I tried to rhyme the last time. Oh, I did it again. Okay, I'm stopping. All right, next. Josh Kale posted. So there's this 24-year-old who got fired from OpenAI named Leopold Aschenbrenner, who raised $1 billion, then grew it to $5.5 billion in 1 year. He dumped his NVIDIA position, and now he's buying every Bitcoin mining company in America. This is what I talked about. I literally talked about this. I said it's a lot easier if Bitcoin is no longer profitable. It's really easy for a Bitcoin mining company to pivot to AI. But not because of Bitcoin, because they already have the two things every AI company is desperate for: power grid access and permits that take years to get. It's like buying a bar that already has a liquor license instead of waiting 3 years for one. These companies are already pivoting from crypto to AI hosting. He's buying them before the market prices it in. The smartest trade in AI right now is not about the chips. It's about how you get them powered. Ladies and gentlemen, it's happening. We talked about this probably a year ago, man. I remember saying, when Bitcoin is no longer profitable to mine, the hash rate is going to get violently volatile. Because half the miners are going to jump ship. They're going to be like, screw this. I'm selling all my rigs, and I'm going to fill this entire space up with just AI servers with stupid Mac Minis running OpenClaw. You know, that's obviously it's not that simple. It's not that elementary, but that's what they're gonna do, man. If I run a multi-million dollar, maybe multi-billion dollar even, multi-million dollar Bitcoin mining operation, and I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling. I got my Bitcoin stash. I'm like thinking about selling it, but then I'm going to get demonized by all the Bitcoiners and the market. They're going to be like, oh, JJ's crypto mining company dumped his bags and caused the latest dip. And then I'm going to get in trouble for that. It's so much easier, especially if somebody approaches me. If somebody approaches me from like Silicon Valley and they're like, listen, Jeff Bezos shows up at my front door, or Elon, and they're like, we want to fill your Bitcoin mining warehouse with AI. Get rid of all that Bitcoin crap. Matter of fact, I'll let you keep it, but I'll pay you to get it the hell out. I'll give you twice what you would normally be able to sell this place for, and you get to keep the mining rigs. I'm shaking that hand, man. I'm shaking that hand so fast. And then the hash rate difficulty decreases. Less people get more Bitcoin, and the playing field like evens out, whatever. I don't know. I might buy a lottery miner just because of all of this transitionary stuff going on. But I think miners are going to start selling their space to AI companies for infrastructure. I'm just saying. 88 said the frogs making the frogs. Never mind. Okay. Sherlock DeFi researcher posted, if you're buying Bitcoin right now at 68K, you will be waiting 3 years just to go break even. 2013 top 1,163, time to break even 3 years. Keep in mind, he's pointing out the top. 2017 top 19,783, time to break even 3 years. 2021 top, and then also his data set's like 33% incorrect. 2021 top 68,789, time to break even 28 months. That's 2 years. The current all-time high was 126K in October 2025. We are 150 days away, or 150 days, into this decline, and the bottom is definitely not in. People buying here are not buying a dip. They are actually buying into a cycle that historically takes 2.5 to 3 years just to return to the previous highs. You are not early. You are buying the bags that institutions are desperately trying to offload. Screenshot this. Those are my favorite when they're like, screenshot, bookmark this, follow me for more. I'm going to tell you guys exactly when I'm selling. I did it at the exact bottom last time, and I'm going to do it again this time, so make sure you follow me. BSCN posted data. Binance Bitcoin reserves fall by over 8,000 Bitcoin. I do believe that we are at an all-time low for exchange reserves. I think that'll change if this mining company thing starts to unfold, because they're going to start offloading their Bitcoin. They are. Even just for transitionary costs. 88 Metals Mania said, then they delete the posts because they were wrong. Exactly. I'm just gonna post about everything. I'm gonna be like, tomorrow's gonna be super bullish, tomorrow's gonna be super bearish, tomorrow's gonna be a nothing burger sideways. And then tomorrow, whatever one happens, I'll delete the other two. And then I'll repost that and I'll be like, see? Follow me for more tips. It's silly, man. It's silly. We live in a strange world. It's fun though. It's definitely fun. Okay, user Bitcoin balances now total roughly 631,000 Bitcoin. That represents a 1.25% decrease month over month. About 8,004 Bitcoin were reduced from the previous snapshot. ETH balances also saw a notable decline of 7.35%. ETH holdings fell around 3.87 million coins. All right, buy my course. Buy my course is my favorite. I think the craziest thing that I've read on the internet, and I asked Grok this. This is also not to show my stuff too much. Like, I really get no benefit from this, honestly, but I feel obligated to. I did make a video, how to make $1,200 a day in winter. Where's the stupid side gigs one? Is that it? Right here, realistic side gigs. So I asked Grok, this was 9 months ago. I asked Grok, like, what are realistic side gigs? And it gave me like a bunch of like internet guru BS, like drop shipping and social media influencer. And I was like, what? How is that a realistic side gig? I've literally never in my entire life met anyone that's ever done drop shipping. Ever. It's probably the most niche thing, and I don't think it's easy. It's just weird. It's weird. Like, why would you even suggest that? So, where was I going with this? Buy my course. Oh, yes. There was a whole post on X. I don't know if it was even true. And I think I read it on the channel about this old dude who was like a millionaire. And the guy that wrote the post was telling the story. He was asking the old dude, he was like, what do you do? And he's like, I sell a PDF on a website about fish. And he's like, what? He's like, and he explained the whole thing. He had like done research on freshwater and saltwater aquarium maintenance and stuff, and he's like, there was a million resources and all of them said different things, so he did it all himself, and he took bits and pieces from all those resources, and he just kind of like made his own PDF file. And then I don't remember, he said somebody was like, people would pay for this, and so he's listed it for sale for like $5. You could buy the PDF, and it's like an entire start to finish to do of saltwater and freshwater aquarium maintenance. And he said he sells like thousands of copies a month, and it's been passive income, and it's grown. He's built a whole website around it. And I thought that was the strangest thing, because it's just a PDF. And I thought to myself, I'm like, why would anyone ever pay for a PDF? But it's information. People are paying for the information, and it's a resource. And I have an aquarium. They're not cheap. If you do it right, they are not cheap, especially if you want to do saltwater. And saltwater information is so abundant, and it's so like out there. You don't know if you're doing the thing right or wrong, and if the person telling you is even considering half the things that you need to keep in mind. So I would easily pay $5 for a PDF about saltwater and freshwater aquariums. It was just interesting to me. Very interesting story. Because the guy's a millionaire because of a PDF for information that he just compiled himself. And if my mom was like, or if my fiance, if somebody was like, you should make that into a PDF and sell it on the internet, I would be like, okay. Like, literally, my brain cannot comprehend somebody making money by selling a PDF on the internet. But that's the thing. Tom Selleck, Philly said, drop shipping. What, are you going to make $2 per ship? I don't know anything about drop shipping. I don't even know what it entails. Tom Selleck Scout said, LOL, Bitcoin dumping, and all we are is still in our 60 to 70 range. Yeah. Yep. We were doing pretty good. We were almost hit 75, and then we dumped 10%, which is a big dump. Ash Crypto posted, in just 2 days, total mined Bitcoin will hit 20 million. The remaining 1 million Bitcoin will take 114 years to mine. Truly insane. That's pretty cool. Coin Bureau posted, no one is talking about alt season, and that's bullish. Sentiment data shows social media mentions. Oh, jeez. Ouch. I'm sorry. I hit the desk. I was getting a little too into it. Okay, let me get back into character. Sentiment data shows social media mentions of alt season have fallen to their lowest level in the past 2 years. Historically, when retail stops talking about altcoins, large holders begin quietly accumulating. Unfortunately, I think that ended probably 4 years ago when we failed to hit any kind of euphoria for alt season 2 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. We looked at this, I think, yesterday. Somebody else posted it. All right. Bitcoin Professor posted, just in, President Trump received a standing ovation as he entered the White House meeting. The Clarity Act is expected to be signed soon, a major step toward making the United States the global hub for crypto innovation. A surge is expected for Bitcoin and altcoins. Buckle up. What do you think will happen when the law passes? Please explain. Interact with my post. I feel like it's worth interacting with, actually. Yeah, I will. All right, then we've got Merlin the Trader. Altcoins versus Bitcoin. Follows the same psychology. Every cycle, euphoria top, capitulation bottom, disbelief, new cycle. Right now, altcoins are sitting exactly where the cycles usually reset. This is where the sentiment dies before the biggest moves begin. I will say, we've seen a million of these Wall Street cheat sheet setups. I've never quite seen one that is as attractive in my brain as this one is right now. Maybe that's because it supports a bias that I have, but it looks pretty dang good to me. I'm not gonna lie. What time frame is it on? It's on the 1 month? Yeah, Is that the 1 month or is that the 1 minute? I'm pretty sure that's the 1 month. So, looks pretty good. Is that the 1 month? I don't know. It's hard to tell. Anyways, that was from Merlin the Trader. We've also got I'm next on the line. It said, call me crazy if you want, but one thing is certain, all coins will have their moment and they will go absolutely crazy. Alt season might be closer than what you think. That would be pretty cool. But until we see something remotely geared towards that, I'm going to remain skeptical. We got Pax Gold potentially starting to pick up here. It's very quiet. If it is, everything's very quiet, very muted, very tame. Definitely giving Saturday night vibes. Tom Selleck Scout said, did you see that a petri dish of brain cells learned to play Doom? I did, actually. Very, very cool. Did you know that whole brains in human bodies also knew how to play Doom? Crazy. I apologize. I'm being a smartass. That is really cool. Bar chart posted, crude oil just posted its biggest weekly gain in history. Wow. This one cracks me up. This is my favorite chart, I think, because it's so arbitrary and nonsensical. The world reached highest level of uncertainty in history this year, surpassing the pandemic, the global financial crisis, and the dot-com bubble. This happened like months ago, but it's like even higher now, so everyone's like, whoa. I don't agree with this. Also, I think the big difference that I see here is that now we are so like neck deep in information constantly that it feels so much more existential than previously. I don't think right now is more uncertain than 9/11 or the war in Iraq or the pandemic or the frickin' 2008 financial crisis. Hell no. Are you crazy? I don't make a lot of money at my job, man, and it's definitely not recession proof. If the market was that uncertain, I would not be working. I'm just saying. Okay. Breaking Indian rupee fell to an all-time low against the U.S. dollar this week. Dang. So does that mean we can like move to India and like get an apartment for like stupid cheap, like $50 a month? That'd be cool. Next, S&P 500 SPY posts consecutive closes below the 100-day moving average for the first time since May. Here we go. Does that mean number go down? I bet you that means number go down. Let's go see what Grok has to say. Yeah. Do you think we are about to see a proper bear market for stocks? What about the broader, what do we call it? The broader economy? Do you think we're about to enter a recession or something similar? Let's see where Grok's input is on that. I'm curious. What do we got for the poll? The poll currently sitting, we got 7 votes. I'm going to end it. I asked you guys, do you think we're on the brink of a recession depression? 43% of you guys said yes, the dump won't stop. 29% said no, Trump will stop it. 14% said yes, but it won't last long. And 14% said no, the Fed will print us out. All right, let's start another poll. Get that going. What do we got? What do we got? We are in month number 3 of 2026. Let's see this one. Will Trump drop a market-moving post/update this weekend? Yes. Clarity Act coming. Yes. Bullish Iran/oil news. No. He's too busy with Iran. No. He's waiting until next week. Let me know what you guys think. Direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Do you think Trump will drop a market-moving post/update this weekend? Tom Saltzcoat said, JJ Doctor facts. Yes. I don't get paid that much. My job is not recession proof, and I'm a doctor. You got it right. All right. Bar chart posted oil options traders are currently paying the most for risk reversals, buying an OTM call and selling an OTM put in history. CBOE Volatility Index VIX closes at highest level in 11 months. Breaking hedge funds had built up an all-time high short exposure to software stocks before the recent short squeeze sent IGV flying higher by 14%. Wow! 88 Metals said he will have to address the oil elephant in the room. Breaking, BlackRock limits withdrawals from its flagship debt fund. Investors wanted to pull $1.2 billion. The fund only had half of that. First Blue Owl, then Blackstone, now BlackRock. Yikes. It's getting spooky out there, folks. Private credit. Wow. That was... I think I just outed myself as a Discord mod. Private credit. Private credit is looking a little crunchy. Next, S&P 500 SPY is now red on the year. Very cool. Thank you, Donald Trump. So much winning, guys. I've never won so much in my life. We got a bunch of confessions today. Some of them moral stories, some of them inspirational, some of them maybe nothing perfect. Confession number 1. Hope y'all make it, but I doubt it. Today, I decided to leave crypto forever. Wasted 3 years of my life with this scam. I'm down 95% from all-time high. I don't have the guts to be an influencer and make people lose their money. I don't have the skill to leverage trade. Spend a lot of time trading this year only to make 5% back. I know even if I make it back, this scam industry will stole it somehow. Good luck. Hope y'all make it, but I doubt it. Damn. 88 Metals Mania said, sounds good, JJ. Tom Solix said, I can't even read that. I know the wabbit part. That wascally wabbit. I did a little parody video a while ago with a character from a meme coin named Charles, and it's supposed to be like Charles, but he's supposed to be kind of like stupid. And I did the voiceover for him, and I said crazy, but I did the W instead of the R, and it's just a voiceover of me going quazy. And I couldn't figure, because the character actually has a voice, like in the animations from the meme coin people. I can't do his voice at all, so I just did my regular voice, and I played the whole video for my fiance. I was like, that's Charles' voice, and she's like, that's just your voice. And I was like, I know. I don't know how to do his voice. I couldn't do anything for his voice, man. So I don't think I could be a voice actor. I think we figured that out. It was pretty funny. Okay, another confessions. Started crypto. Some of these might be a little depressing, so I'm going to preface that. I apologize in advance. Happy Saturday, guys. Thank you for being here. Cheers. Check out the poll in the chat. Links in the description. Join the Discord. It's completely free. It's a ton of fun. A little hangout spot for random degenerate stock or crypto things. You don't even have to be an investor. You can join that and talk about the business that you're starting. Whatever you want. Cheers. Okay. Started crypto trading in 2021. It was all okay until 2023. I won some and lost some. Then wife got pregnant and left her job. I took over her $5,000 loan and paying it. In November 2024, my dad was cheated financially. I took it upon me to clear that $20,000. I thought I'd make some money in crypto and clear them. I have lost about $5,000 in trading. Future looks bleak. Hope is dying. I failed as a man, as a husband, as a son, and as a dad. I wish God gives me strength. Guys, money is not everything. There's help if you need help financially. I don't know what more to say. Unfortunately, sometimes finances suck. You got to deal with it. I'm about $70,000 in debt, but I love crypto, hoping to get rich. I still invest in one shitcoin a month. You got to respect it, man. This guy's got a plan. I think we might adopt that. I would love to do a monthly meme coin. I know 88 Metal said, haha, poor fella. All that over 5K. Dude, I was that same way. I told you guys when I was 19 years old, I had a car repossessed. And what they do is they repossess the car, they auction it off, and then whatever's left of your loan, because they use that money to pay off a chunk of the loan, and then whatever's left, you're responsible for, and you have no car after that. So I'm sitting here, I get a bill in the mail for like, oh shoot, it was like $8,000, and dude, I thought my life was over financially. I thought I was ruined. I was like, I'm never gonna financially recover from this. It was literally the meme, the Tiger King meme, and I'm like, just like for weeks, I was like, oh my, how am I gonna deal with this? That's so much money. And I'm driving and I hear this ad on the radio. They're like, if you're overwhelmed with debt, and I was like, okay, I write this number down and I call it, and they're like, the lady's talking me through. I explain my whole situation. She's like, okay, and then I'm talking to her for a minute, and then I explain everything, and she's like, how much debt? And I was like, 8,000, and she was like, 80, and I was like, no, 8,000, and she's like, oh, we can only help you if it's $50,000 or more. And I was like, what? What? How do you even get that much debt? It blew my mind. And then I realized, like, there was an outsider's perspective. I was like, $8,000 in debt is not a lot of debt. That is not a lot of money. And I got it paid off pretty quickly. So that was cool. But yeah, I guess depending on your scenario, how much money you make, how much money you have, how much money you've seen at one time, $5,000, it can seem like a lot. It can. I feel it. I feel it, Mr. Grams. But learning that it's not a lot feels better than paying it off, I would argue. Next, at some point, fell for the Monad scam and lost 4 years of earnings in just 1 month. That's crazy. At one point in 2023, I put $3 million into a single altcoin. Now I have less than 170K to my name. Dang. I wish I had that problem, man. I would do some crazy things to be able to say that I only have $170,000 to my name. That would be pretty awesome. Completely lost myself to meme coin trading. I make okay money running my own business. Now, I barely focus on it, and I take all my money and lose it trading. I pray to God that I will learn my lesson and eventually stop. I'm embarrassed to tell anyone. I hate it here, and I would absolutely leave and never come back if someone handed me a couple $100,000. Get out. He's so full of crap. I think he's full of crap. So, this is a big Tony Soprano, not argument, but like a Tony Soprano situation. Tony Soprano's filthy rich. He had all the money you could ever want. He kept doing what he's doing, but he got into gambling. Why does one normally get into gambling? I would argue like 90% of it, people probably like, I'm going to gamble so I can win money and make it big. And they usually never do. Tony Soprano didn't want to win money and make it big. He gambled so that he could feel something. When he gambled and he won, he did not give a shit. He'd be like, okay, sweet. Want some money, let's go. When he lost, though, he had like a visceral reaction. He felt alive. He was like, damn it, I just lost so much money. It's a psychological thing. I watched a whole probably 40-minute video, or I listened to it, I guess, about Tony Soprano and gambling. A fictional character and gambling with his fictional money. It was very entertaining. That's the shit that I watch on YouTube. Is this what I just read? Yeah. Okay. All I've done is lose money. Everything I hold dips. If I buy the dip, it dips more. Today, I sold in loss after I held for 4 months, and literally an hour later, it does plus 40%. I'm feeling really unlucky and disappointed in myself. Really hope I can turn things around. Yeah, guys. It's always difficult, especially something like this. Clearly, if it was up 40% today, it was a meme coin. But you gotta be careful, man. I will say, and I've talked about this before too, on days, because it happens to everyone, you will never convince me that you do not feel this sometimes as well. On days where it's looking really bad and I'm just pissed, I'm livid, I'm like, this sucks, the market's never going to recover, why am I even doing this, any days where I feel like it's just, there's no point in investing, and it's all a scam, and I got distracted, and I fell for it, all that stupid crap, I'm the greatest victim on the planet. On those days, when it feels really shitty, I take a little bit off the table. Even if it's like 0.25%, take $100 out and I pay a bill, or I go fill up my fridge, or I take the family out to the movies, whatever. Maybe I buy some stupid shit on Amazon. Take like I said, $100, and you feel like you got something out of it. Because if you're just constantly you're throwing money in nonstop, you're just throwing money in nonstop, and you get no return, that sucks. Even if you are down, in my opinion, it is worth the taxable event of taking out $100, because then you don't even think about it. You have $100, you take your family out to dinner, it didn't come out of your bank account. Your bags are down $100, big freaking deal. They've been down $100 every other day anyways. Couple $100 every other day anyways. Who gives a shit? Take $100 out, treat yourself. Not financial advice. That's just one of my tactics. 88 Metal said take $100 out and it pops 10x the next day. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. That's why you don't clear the whole bag. I personally will never, ever clear a whole bag. I think that's insane. 88 Metal said can't play in the mud and not get dirty. Exactly. F that, Hondo. Dude, if I had $200 in something, I took $100 out and it did a 10x the next day, I'd be a little bit pissed off. Tishu said, no, you take some off when you feel good about the market and up. What the F? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right. Next. Oh my gosh, what just happened? I'm 24. Is that what I've done? Yeah, I'm 24 and still live at home. I've been in crypto for 4 years, and 2025 was the first year where I made decent money. I have no debt, paid off my family's debt, and have over $500,000 in crypto. Yet for some reason I still feel empty. I have no financial burden, yet I feel 500K is not a lot of money. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but the feeling of six-figure hell is causing me to lose sleep. Above all, this space is so toxic. I hate it here, but this is the only space to jump the gap between lower class and upper class. I disagree. I just want to make a few million and disappear. I hate crypto and I hate everyone in it, but I'm trapped here 24/7. Maybe that's the problem. This guy made so much money, he's got 500K left over. Maybe we're surrounding ourselves with like cool, chill people. Maybe we need to surround ourselves with shitty people that we hate, and that's how you make it. Interesting. I never really thought about that. Tishu said, buy high, sell low. But when there is no high, you're allowed to take a little bit out. It is your money. You're an adult man. You can do with it what you please. My method, again, on those days where it's real dark and bleak, I like to take a little bit of money out. Like I said, inconsequential amount. And just spend it on myself. Makes you just completely forget about your bags. You're like, oh, not even thinking about that. I'm eating a big, fat, juicy Reuben. It's delicious. I'm watching a movie in a recliner at the bougie movie theater with my stupid little pretzel nuggets dipped in the cheese. 88 Metals Mania said, listen, he will make a couple more mil and still not be satisfied. That's how people are. Oh, 100%. That's why people say money can't buy happiness. It can't, man. You gotta focus on your life. Even if you can be dialed in, but you have to make sure that your foundation is still there when you're done, man. You gotta work on your finances at the same time you're enjoying your life. You know what I mean? Just because I'm like grinding on YouTube, I'm grinding in crypto, I'm grinding in the stock market, I'm grinding at work, does not mean when I'm done with all that at the end of the day, I can't spend time with my family. Family's not a grind. Family is what you're doing it for, man. You got to be able to sit down and enjoy video games with your family. Go out to the movies, like I said, take your family out to dinner. You have to have a foundation. It's important. And unfortunately, there are people out there like Andrew Tate who like objectify women who are definitely don't have a small man complex and definitely aren't completely dissatisfied with life because they've never been loved by somebody, that preach these weird like half-ass alpha male idealistic bullshit things that are just hollow. and they don't actually involve like real family and real connection. It's sad, man. It's depressing. 88 Metals Mania said buy the V6 Mustang for gas saving. 2 months later, you wish you got the V8. That is the most privileged. That is a problem I would love to have. Get a 55-inch TV. 2 months later, you wish you got the 75-inch. Versus us humans are greedy folks. Yeah, 100%. People are always looking for improvement. I think that that's human nature, though. I really do. I guess there's a fine line between improvement and greed. You know, some people will never be satisfied. All right, this one was pretty crazy. I've made over $1 million from meme coins. My narrative to my family was that I am an experienced leverage trader who is doing well. Now my brother-in-law wants me to teach him how he can trade futures, and I don't effing know what to do, lol. Just give him money, dude. If you made over $1 million, just give him some money. Tell him to F off. Go learn himself. Is that mean? All right, then last but not least, we got the Iranian oil depot bombed by the U.S. Pretty crazy stuff. It's getting spicy out there. Like I said, you definitely can't utilize the oil that's been bombed. I'm just saying. And that is it for the news segment. Ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin is chilling at $67,260. It is the same price that it's been for a month. It is a solid month of 67K. Wow. What are we going to do? Subscribe to JJ's Cryptic Corner. And tune in to the live streams every single day. Crypto bubbles. OKB is up. It's a sad day when the highest pump is 9%. And it's something called Kite that you've never even heard of. Weekly. Yep. Everything's down. OKB and Pi are up. Very cool. Kite's up. Very cool. Monthly. Wow. Yep. Not a whole lot going on, man. Market is boring. Very, very boring. That's cool. 8 is up 3.2% on the month. I don't know what month they're measuring, but damn. Definitely not my month. All right, let's see what Grok said. We asked Grok, do you think we are about to see a proper bear market for stocks? What about the broader economy? Do you think we're about to enter a recession or something similar? No, I don't think we're about to see a proper bear market in stocks, which is only about 3.4% below its January 2026 all-time high, 69.79, and down roughly 1.5% year-to-date in 2026. That's a normal pullback or mild correction territory, not a bear market, especially after the index gained nearly 18% in 2025. Major Wall Street outlooks reinforce this. Goldman Sachs highlights correction risks from high valuations, geopolitics, and AI-related worries, but explicitly say a deeper or protracted bear market is unlikely, calling any dip buying opportunity amid robust earnings growth. Morgan Stanley sees the bull market extending into a fourth year, supported by a dovish Fed and ongoing AI momentum. JP Morgan is positive on global equities for double-digit gains in 2026. Even retail investors' surveys show 70% expecting positive returns this year, with almost no one forecasting a correction. That sounds bad. When no one's forecasting a correction, that's usually when you correct. 88 Metals Mania said nothing wrong with not being satisfied, but if it's wrecking your life, better look in the mirror, right? Excuse me. On the broader economy, I also don't think we're about to enter a recession or anything closely resembling one. Forecasts point to steady or above trend growth. Goldman sees 2.5 to 2.8% real GDP for 2026. Others around 2.2%, with the labor market stable, unemployment 4.3%, low by historical standards, and inflation gradually easing toward the Fed's target. Recent data shows some softening, but nothing signaling contraction. Recession probabilities from major sources sit in 20 to 35% range for 2026. That's elevated versus a normal healthy economy, but far from base case. Most economists see resilience from AI investment, fiscal support, and easier policy. The economy has faced headwinds, sticky inflation around 3%, labor market cooling policy uncertainties, and volatility or a mild slowdown is plausible. Midterm elections, geopolitics, or valuation resets could trigger short-term dips, but the data doesn't point to a downturn or bear market anytime soon. The cycle looks more like a late cycle optimism, with earnings-driven gains ahead rather than despair. This is my independent read based on current indicators and consensus forecasts. No crystal ball, and risks can always shift quickly. Markets and economies are resilient until they are not, so diversification and a long-term view still makes sense. If new data like upcoming CPI, PCE, or GDP revisions change the picture, that could evolve fast. What about the war? Everyone's tweaking about this stupid Iran crap that happens every other month, it seems. Ay, ay, ay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, pretty quiet night overall. Gold not doing a whole lot. Bitcoin definitely not doing a whole lot. Stock market obviously doing nothing. We got 4 votes in the poll. I'm going to end it. I asked you guys, do you think Trump will drop a market-moving post/update this weekend? 100% of you guys said yes. Bullish Iran/oil news. Interesting. So I suspect you guys are all buying the dip. With that, I guess we'll call it. Been going for about an hour and a half. Chill stream tonight. Tomorrow maybe be a little more fun. As always, guys, smash the like button. When the market starts to do anything crazy, I will hop back on. Or anything at all, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Saturday, and good night.